If you're watching this video, you're probably more than ready to start making thousands of dollars in this business, wholesaling houses, and I've got exactly what you need. What's up, guys? It's Dara, real estate investor and entrepreneur out of Atlanta, Georgia, and in this video, you're gonna learn 4 different ways to make money wholesaling houses, whether you have absolutely nothing to play with or you have quite a bit of money to invest. The 4 different types of wholesale deals are an assignment, a double close, a joint venture or co-wholesale, and a wholesale deal. The first 3 types require absolutely no money. Not your money, not his money, her money, nobody's money. And the 4th one does require that you have some capital, some cash to invest. So, what is an assignment? Assignment of a contract is pretty simple, and all that means is that you as a wholesaler, you find motivated homeowners, you get their property under contract with the intention to sell. And in your contract, you want to make sure that you have a clause that allows you the right to assign that contract. This is how this whole game works. This is what makes it all legal and a-okay to do. So you want to make sure that your contract has a clause in there that allows you to assign that contract. And remember, as wholesalers, you're never, ever, ever selling properties because, let's face it, you don't own it and you can't sell what you don't own, technically. So what you're marketing is a contract for purchase. So again, make sure you have a clause in your contract that allows you to assign that contract to a cash buyer, an investor who will actually come and pay cash and buy the property. So what you do, like I said, you get the property under contract and you assign it. You give yourself time, 30 days, 45 days, whatever, to find someone who will come and purchase that property. And here's the reason why you don't have to pay anything, because you're not actually buying the property. And here's the gag. You don't have to put up any money to assign a property. If you have a good enough rapport and you have credibility and trust, then a lot of homeowners don't even know what earnest money is and don't ever ask for it. So in my contracts, I don't have anything about earnest money. The second type is a double close. And a double close is the exact same steps up front as an assignment. You still want to make sure that your contract has an assignment clause, just because you never know, your exit strategy may change, but make sure your contracts with homeowners always have an assignment clause. But with a double close, you're not assigning your contract per se. So you're still not coming out of pocket for anything, but the difference is now you're sending your end buyer a purchase and sell agreement instead of an assignment agreement. With an assignment agreement, typically you have how much you're making stated. And with a double close and a regular purchase and sell agreement, no one knows how much you're making. The homeowner doesn't see it on the HUD statement and the end buyer doesn't see it on the HUD statement. So nobody knows how much profit you're making. As opposed to an assignment, when it comes to the closing and you get your HUD-1 statement, there's going to be your entity or your name on the statement with your fee in bright, plain day numbers and letters. So I typically use a double close method when I'm making more than $5,000 profit. And if I'm making less than $5,000 profit, I use an assignment strategy, exit strategy. So that all varies, honestly, to your liking and to the trust that you have with both the homeowner and the cash buyer. Some people could care less what you're making, but others do kind of get a little, if they see that you're making like $20,000 or more or whatever, $6,000 off of them. So double close when you want to make a higher profit or when you simply just want to hide your profit. Some people double close on $1,000, $1,500 profit, so that's just the main difference. When you double close, whether it's your entity or your personal name that you're buying properties in, you will get title to the property for a split second. It's called a simultaneous close, double close, depending on where you are. And again, at the title company or the closing attorney's office here in Georgia, we close at closing attorney's offices. You are recorded on title as a property owner for a very split second. And the way that you can do this method with no money is by simply having in your purchase and sell agreement with your end buyer that they will allow that their funds can fund your A to B deal. So I'll say it again. In your contract with your end buyer, you want to make sure that there is a clause First, you want to make sure that it's not assignable because you don't want your end buyer assigning your contract. But more importantly, you want to make sure that there is a clause in there that states that their funds will be used to fund the A to B deal. It'll be used to close on the deal, on the contract, on the purchase from the homeowner. It's called pass-through funding, transactional funding, gap funding, but that terminology is very important. That clause is very important to have in your contract with your end buyer so that the double close can go smoothly and so that you don't have to come up with whatever the purchase amount was with the homeowner. The third type of wholesale deal is a joint venture or a co-wholesale. And down below in the description box, you will see a link. I'll put a link down there for another video that I made about joint venturing, co-wholesaling, and you can learn all the goodness, all the secrets on that type of wholesale deal. But it's a great way, and probably that should have been first. That's a surefire way to not have to spend any money and make thousands of dollars wholesaling houses. Unlike an assignment and a double close, there may be some pushback with homeowners about putting down earnest money. Now, with a joint venture or co-wholesale, you'll truly never have to come out of pocket for anything. Now, let me take that back, and I'll never say never because, there's really nothing black and white in real estate. Never say never, but up till now, out of all the joint venture and co-wholesale deals that I've ever done, it's literally been infinite return because I've had to put nothing down, nothing. And, you split the fee. So really briefly, what a joint venture or a co-wholesale deal is you find another wholesaler and they have a property under contract with a homeowner and you come in and bring them a cash buyer. That way you guys can split the fee however you like, whether that's 50-50 or some type of percentage or flat fee, or you may have to add your own fee on top of the asking price that the wholesaler is putting out there. So what you do, you partner up with another wholesaler. Between the two of you, you have what's called a joint venture or a finder's fee, or sometimes it's called a co-wholesale agreement. All that is a document so that the closing attorney knows that you're going to get paid on this deal. So the document states something along the lines of person A agrees to pay person B X amount at closing for bringing a buyer for this deal. Something along those lines. Right, so you want to make sure you have that equitable interest before you start marketing this property or this contract to your buyers, so that when your buyer is ready to go, then you can get paid. So joint venture, co-wholesale, the greatest way to make infinite return on your investment. Wholesaling, because your investment is nothing, as in money is nothing. So infinite return to make thousands of dollars, maybe even hundreds. The fourth type of wholesale deal, it's what's called a hotel deal. Now, hotel is a mix of wholesale and retail. Retail meaning that the deal is now listed on the multiple listing service or the MLS. So let me back up. What happens in a hotel deal, this is the only type of deal out of the four that I've listed that requires capital. It requires you as a wholesaler to have some kind of cash, whether it's yours or someone else's, but you gotta have money. This isn't the infinite return where you put zero down and make thousands. So what you have to do is pretty much the same process as every other wholesale deal in the beginning. You find a motivated homeowner, get their property under contract at a discounted price. The only and the main difference is that you're actually going to purchase this property. Okay, you're going to come up with the funds to purchase the property, and you do nothing to it unless you want to, but you do absolutely nothing to it, and you turn around and list it on the MLS. Now that's where your realtor friends come in handy, or I know there's several brokers out there that have flat fee MLS listings where it's kind of for sale by owner on the MLS. So whatever you think is worth it, whatever value you find in getting that property of yours on the MLS, go that route. So what happens is, like I mentioned, you actually close on the deal with the motivated homeowner. So now you actually own this property. So you're no longer selling a contract, you're actually selling a property that you own, whether it's your personal name or your entity. You control this property. So you now have the right to sell it. You put it on the MLS, and that way you have multiple eyes on this deal. You'll find cash buyers who are investors, cash buyers who are homeowners, who are looking for fixer-uppers to live in. But that way, it's still a wholesale deal, because you still want to make sure that the price that you retail it at is still a discount to whoever's going to come and pay for it. But it's just a way to maybe get a little bit more money than you could or you would from an off-market deal. Now, the idea behind this strategy, again, is that you hope to get more money because it is on the multiple listing service and because you have a way wider pool of buyers that way. Again, you have those investors who are okay with listed properties, and you have homeowners, or anybody, they don't have to be a homeowner who wants to live in the house. Anybody who has cash now has access to your property for sale. And again, you want to put it at a discount so it's still a deal. But typically, you can get a lot more money from listed properties than you can with off-market properties to just your pool of investors. Now, think about it. You know, you've worked hard. I got a video down below about how to build your cash buyers list. So I know you have tens to hundreds of people on your cash buyers list, but that's only tens of hundreds of people that you know. Now, when you put it on the MLS, those are thousands of people, not just in your area, but all over the country and sometimes internationally have eyes on this property of yours. So you're widening your buyer pool, which in turn could potentially cause more demand, which could rise that price or it could push that price up. So the idea is to put it on the MLS in the hopes to get more money. Just to recap, the 4 ways to make money wholesaling houses with little capital or lots of capital are an assignment, a double close, a joint venture or co-wholesale, and a hotel deal. Now again, those first 3 are the ones that are truly no money down. I'll say no money to little money down. And then the 4th one, the hotel deal, does require that you have some money. So for instance, say you get Miss Susan's house at 123 Main Street under contract for $50,000. Okay? It's worth, let's say, $150,000, but you get it under contract for $50,000, and you have to have $50,000 plus closing costs to purchase Miss Susan's house. So that's what I mean when I say that you have to have some kind of capital to invest. Now that price could obviously range. So the idea behind wholesaling is to just keep it wholesale prices for yourself and the end buyer, but because it's listed, it could kind of push retail numbers. I hope this video helps. Make sure you like this video, share it, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.